Does gear matter? Will upgrading your cameras and lenses instantly improve your portrait photography? Will it change the way you shoot? How you compose your images? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you my opinion on the matter. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Joe. Welcome to the Genius of Joe. Today guys, we'll be answering the age-old question, does gear matter in your photography? More specifically, does gear matter in your portrait photography? Because at the end of the day guys, this is a portrait/fashion photography channel. Well, the answer is, it depends. I'll go into more detail in a bit, but if you don't know me already, my name is Joe, of course. I'm a professional portrait photographer based in Birmingham, UK, and I try to have other portrait photographers like yourself not only improve, but create distinctive and creatively fulfilling work. So if you're interested in that guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and if you want more personal advice beyond these YouTube videos, top links in the description is my portrait photography school community. So not coaching, my school community, which I will be releasing in about early 2025. So if you're watching this video and it's already out, guys, click the link below. It's a place where you can network, learn and grow alongside other portrait photographers while also being coached by me. And you also get access to these amazing courses that will help you improve as a portrait photographer. So if that's interesting to you guys, again guys, top links in the description below so you can check it out and learn more. Okay, so what do I mean by it depends? Well, it essentially just comes down to your personal skill level as a photographer and the type of projects/photo shoots that you're going to be a part of. I'm just going to assume that you already have a camera and lens, you've done a few shoots with some models or with some people that you photographed before, and you're wondering to yourself, should I upgrade my gear? But before we do that, we need to assess your situation and ask yourself these questions. Number one, has my current camera and lens prevented me from getting the desired look that I want in my photo shoots? 2, do I feel limited when using my camera gear? 3, will my current gear be enough to execute my future photo shoot visions? And 4, do I have any paid photo shoots booked or coming up? The main questions we need to discuss is the first two. Is my current gear preventing me from getting my desired look? If the answer is yes, you may need to consider upgrading or switching to a different camera body or lens. Let's say you want to get that nice shallow depth of field, get the most flattering look on your model, while also being able to get wide and full shots of the model, while simultaneously getting nice close-ups of them. If you have like a 35mm prime lens, that may not be the best option for you, and you may want to consider buying a 50mm or an 85mm prime. Or if you're going for that more fine art look and nice sharp and clean look, it may come down to simply that your camera isn't sharp enough or your lens isn't sharp enough, and you need that detail that you won't be able to get with your current gear. And then you just feel limited with what you could do. I'm going to tell you my story for more context, okay? So my first camera was a Nikon D3500. It was just a cheap £350 DSLR body, and I got it at Christmas 2019. At the time, it was the perfect beginner camera for me. I got to learn how my settings worked, my camera settings worked. It was quite decent for portraits and other ways of shooting at my skill level. Overall, it was a nice place to start to help train myself with how a camera works in general. The D3500 was an amazing beginner camera, but as my skills evolved and I just got better, I slowly outgrew that camera body, and I noticed I felt so limited with what I could create, and I wasn't able to execute all my photography and photo shoot visions that I would have if I had a better camera. A camera that was once great and essentially the perfect camera for me is now obsolete and essentially useless. I remember I literally just stopped taking photos altogether and just stopped using my camera, and I actually just eventually transitioned into shooting film, which is a completely different story within itself. But eventually in 2022, I was able to afford my Canon R6, and ever since then, I've been able to actually pursue my photography, and I was able to have these crazy and cool visions and actually execute them. It was amazing. Literally, right, my next photo shoot or my next portrait shoot that I eventually did with that camera was 10 times better than anything I've taken on my old Nikon D3500. So the moral of the story is, own gear that matches your skill level and the types of shoots that you want to do. I think it's absolute bullshit to think that you only need like a shitty DSLR body and create amazing photos with it forever. Look, obviously you can create good photos with the Nikon D3500. I have created good photos with it, but don't expect to be able to create your magnum opus of work with that shitty camera. Yes, obviously I didn't need my Canon R6 when I first started, but as I significantly improved and I started landing literal paid jobs, I had to upgrade. There was no questions asked about that. What was once a great camera is now completely useless to me. So to determine if you feel limited with the current gear that you have, go back to those questions. Do you feel limited when you're using your gear? Do you feel as if like you can't get the best photos that you can get from the photo shoot because of your gear? Do you feel as if the only way you can make better photos is by having that certain focal length or that certain camera body that you need to have? Now, by all means, that doesn't mean that you need the best of the best gear to take photos. You don't need a Canon R1 or a Canon R3 or a Sony Alpha 1 or anything like that to take any good photos. Like for me, I only have my Canon R6 Mark 1, not even the Mark II version, the Mark 1 version. I'm pretty sure the Mark 3 version is coming out soon. This camera costs about like £1,000 used, and I still take amazing photos of it. You don't need expensive stuff. You just need gear that is good enough to get the job done. Luckily for us guys, most modern cameras are good enough to get the job done. And with mirrorless cameras too, they're amazing at basically any price point. And if you're pursuing portrait or fashion photography, you don't exactly need the best gear to take good portraits. Obviously you want to have like a good megapixel count and good autofocus, and obviously a sharp lens, and maybe shallow depth of field, so I guess like a faster lens like f2, f1.8, f2.8. I've even seen big fashion photographers use DSLR bodies, like old Canon 5D Mark 3s or Mark 4s. You don't exactly need the best of best gear, like I just said. Again, like, as long as your lenses are sharp enough and you've got a good megapixel count and you have good eye autofocus, but even then the eye autofocus doesn't really matter as much, because if you're in a controlled environment and you're taking photos of someone and you're posing them, the autofocus doesn't have to be that good. Obviously it's really convenient if it is very snappy and sharp and precise, but bro, you can use manual focus, like bro. So I see people obviously like if you're a film photographer, you literally manual focus, right? If you can manual focus for your portraits, I think you can deal with some shitty autofocus, you know what I mean? So you're a portrait photographer and want to start working and collaborating with actual models, and sick and tired of shooting your friends and your family that don't even know how to pose in front of a camera. Well guys, luckily for you, I just released my free masterclass / video course where I go over my 3 personal methods that I like to use to find models to shoot with. So guys, if you want this guide, all you need to do is click my link below, which is on my website, check it out and learn more. I want to mention paid shoots. So for me, before I bought my Canon R6, I actually rented out quite a lot for different paid jobs, because there was no way my Nikon D3500 was going to get the job done. I think it's absolutely selfish to think that your shitty £300 camera body will get any good photos for your client and they're actually going to be happy with the results. Guys, stop being cheap. Make that investment. Like obviously, yeah, if you're getting a paid job and you're going to rent out gear, it's going to take a chunk out of your pay. It's going to take a small percentage out of your pay, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it, because not only will you get better photos for the client, which is going to be good for you because you have a better reputation, better portfolio, but also, and it's also good for you because now you can determine whether or not you actually want to upgrade to that certain camera body or that certain lens or not, because you get hands-on experience of it. Like, yeah, obviously YouTube videos, YouTube reviews, they're good to watch, but there's nothing better than actually getting your hands on the camera or the lens and using it in your photo shoots. Like for me, I used the R6 on multiple jobs before I decided to actually upgrade to that camera. It's not like I just decided one day I'm gonna buy it because it's expensive, so it must be a good camera, like it must be a good camera. Like no, I bought it because I made my own decision after using it on multiple weddings, events, all that type of stuff, and I was like, okay, is this the camera for me? Yes, it is. So I would 100% recommend renting out gear that you may want to upgrade to and buy, because again, it's not only good for the clients and for you to get some good photos of it, but also you get hands-on experience of it, which is great into determining if you want to buy it or not. But I'm going to emphasize this again though, guys. Get gear that matches your photography skill level. Don't just buy expensive cameras when you're just starting out and you barely know how to take a fucking portrait, right? Stick to that cheaper gear, learn the basics of a camera, learn your style, learn how to take a portrait, learn how to actually use a camera, the settings, all that type of stuff. And then once you feel as if your skills are outweighing or you've outgrown your camera to the point that it's kind of fucking useless and obsolete to you, then you can decide whether or not you want to rent out gear, then upgrade. Anyway guys, that is it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys found this useful. Guys, gear does matter, but again though guys, get gear that matches your skill level. Please do not let your skills outgrow your camera gear, because you may, if that happens to you, you may start to actually fall out of love with photography and may just stop shooting altogether or do other things like transition to film like I did. And if you can't afford to upgrade your gear, then it's all about renting it out. Renting it out for a couple shoots. Obviously you can't rent your gear out on every shoot you do because you could be skint by then, right? But if you're not really getting any paid work, still, you rent out some gear maybe once or twice a month for a couple of shoots, use it, build your portfolio up that way, and then eventually go ahead and actually own that camera or own that lens, just like I did. I rented out the Canon R6 on a couple of jobs like weddings and stuff like that before I decided to go, actually I want to buy this camera now and afford it, because I couldn't afford it initially. Like, I wanted to buy this Canon R6 way before I actually bought it. I didn't like think about getting it, I went bought it straight away, like I had the money for it, bro. I'm not that fucking rich, right? It was about, okay, but I used it a couple of times on weddings and stuff beforehand, and I actually used other Canon cameras too to decide whether or not I should get the Canon EOS R, the R5 or something like that. But then as I built my money up, and I was able to eventually afford the Canon R6 and a couple of lenses. So yeah, let's do that. Sorry if my necklace was hitting the mic, by the way. I don't know if it was hitting the mic. It's a bit annoying, right? So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, guys, also, like I said in the intro, check out my portrait photography school community. Guys, this is the place where you're going to learn how to grow as a portrait photographer, learn everything about portrait photography, get coached by me alongside other portrait photographers, go on calls with me, live calls, all that type of stuff. It's not going to be out when I release this video, but it's going to be out in early 2025. So I'll say about like the New Year's, a couple of days after the New Year's. So watch out for that. And if it's already out and you're watching this a few weeks after this video came out, guys, top links in the description where you can check it out, learn more, join an amazing community. And don't forget to check out my free masterclass on how to find models to shoot with. So if you want to learn how to network with models, find models to photograph for your photo shoots, execute your crazy photography visions, link in the description below. We can check that masterclass out, learn more, all that type of stuff. Anyway, guys, that is it. Click on any of these videos here to learn more portrait photography. And I'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye.